To this explainer. I'm absolutely thrilled you're here because today we are diving into a really fascinating modern market mystery to uncover the hidden mechanisms that are driving up everyday costs. I mean, we're talking about the price of the meat at your local grocery store, the rent you pay for your apartment, and really, the fundamental rules of competition itself. The entire landscape of antitrust is shifting right beneath our feet, and it affects all of us. So let's jump right in. The absolutely crucial question that is challenging modern antitrust law right now is this. When does sharing data become the exact same thing as fixing prices? As our markets evolve rapidly from, handshakes and smoke-filled rooms to complex lightning-fast algorithms, regulators and economists are really scrambling to keep up. To understand how we got here, we need to start with a massive landmark event, the May 2026 Department of Justice settlement involving AgriStats. Now, AgriStats is a data company, and they were accused of helping major meat processors coordinate their prices without ever actually making an explicit agreement. Picture this setup for a second. On one side, we have competitors who are supposedly operating independently. But right in the middle, there's this massive silo of data linking them. No phone calls, no secret diner meetings, just highly detailed data flowing back and forth. Section 1. The invisible price fix. We are stepping into the scene of a completely new kind of antitrust violation. It's a world where artificially high prices exist, sure, but traditional evidence is literally nowhere to be found. And the absolutely crucial point here is that antitrust law was fundamentally built for handshakes, not databases. For decades, antitrust enforcement meant looking for a smoking gun. They wanted secret meetings in hotels, wiretapped phone calls, direct agreements among competitors to keep prices high. That kind of explicit collusion is the core trigger for laws like the Sherman Act. But today's markets? Well, they just don't work like that anymore. They run on benchmarking systems, data platforms, and algorithmic pricing tools that allow firms to observe and respond to their rivals in real time. Section 2. How AgriStats worked. Okay, so to really grasp the mechanics of this massive shift, we have to examine the ingenious system at the very center of this case. AgriStats acted as a central hub with a strict flow of information. They operated on a rigid give-to-receive basis. They pulled proprietary data directly from the meat processor's own accounting systems, standardized all of that information, and then sent it back out as these incredibly detailed benchmarking reports. Basically, if you didn't hand over your most sensitive data, you were locked out. You couldn't see the reports. And the specific data being shared by these competitors was incredibly sensitive. We're talking prices, costs, exact margins, output volumes, operational data, the whole shebang. The sheer granularity of this shared data is exactly what made the DOJ step in. I mean, think about it. When you know your competitor's exact cost to produce a single pound of chicken and they know yours, nobody wants to start a price war. The shared data makes explicit, illegal backroom deals completely unnecessary. The database essentially does the dirty work for them, effectively bypassing traditional antitrust tripwires. Section 3. The economics of cheating. Now, you might be wondering, why go to all this trouble to build this massive data sharing hub in the first place? Well, the answer lies in the fundamental economic problem of running any cartel. Even when competitors implicitly want to keep prices high, someone is always tempted to cheat. It's just human nature. So, step 1. Cartels face cheating. A company wants to secretly undercut its rivals to win more market share. Step 2, this unseen cheating breaks the coordination and boom, starts a price war. But step 3 is where data totally changes the game. Rapid data sharing solves the cartel's problem by instantly exposing the cheater, so rivals can quickly retaliate and, step 4, punish them to restore those high prices. Without this kind of monitoring, cheating causes coordination to break down into a really messy price war. But with detailed monitoring, like AgriStats acting as a sort of industry-wide surveillance system, a meat processor simply couldn't quietly offer a discount to a massive grocery chain without their rivals noticing almost instantly. The data removes all the noise from the market. Rivals can detect the deviation, initiate a punishing response, and keep those coordinated high prices perfectly stable. And if you want proof that this isn't just some abstract economic theory, we actually have a smoking gun. Let's call it a natural experiment. Back in 2019, private litigation actually forced AgriStats to briefly suspend its turkey and pork reporting programs. The result? The prices of both meats plummeted almost immediately. Literally, as soon as the competitors couldn't see each other's data anymore, the coordination collapsed and true competition returned to the market. Section 4. Legal versus illegal data. So does this mean all data sharing is bad? Absolutely not. And this brings us to a really major legal nuance in antitrust law. You've probably heard of Nielsen, right? They collect retail sales data all the time, and it's perfectly legal. So why did AgriStats trigger a massive DOJ lawsuit while Nielsen doesn't? It comes down to direction. Nielsen shares data vertically across the supply chain, like from a retailer down to a manufacturer, using aggregated delayed data to help plan inventory. AgriStats, however, operated as a closed club. They were sharing data horizontally, directly among competitors, using highly granular real-time data. Antitrust alarm bells ring the loudest when we look at horizontal sharing. Knowing a competitor's exact, real-time cost structure removes the critical uncertainty that actually makes free markets competitive. Firms compete much more aggressively when they don't know exactly how their competitors will respond. When that uncertainty is stripped away by horizontal data sharing, rivals can safely coordinate, usually at your expense. Section 5. The AI Pricing Frontier. If you thought human managers looking at benchmarking reports was concerning, well, strap in. We have to look at the terrifying next step in this evolution. We have rapidly moved from the basic data sharing of the 1990s into a totally new, uncharted era. We've gone from AgriStats pausing its meat reporting in 2019 to a flurry of massive DOJ lawsuits between 2022 and 2025 against property management software companies like RealPage and Yardi. These companies are accused of using pooled landlord data to generate algorithmic rent prices. So we've essentially gone from humans reading reports to artificial intelligence calling the shots. As these AI systems evolve, we're looking at 3 distinct scenarios for antitrust regulators. And honestly, it's a huge shift from where we started. First, you have the independent use of the same software using public data, which is mostly fine. Second, you have algorithms that actively learn coordinated behavior. They interact repeatedly and actually learn to sustain high prices and punish deviations without any human intervention at all. And third, the most complex scenario, AI that optimizes strategic cheating. What is truly alarming here is this third scenario. An AI system can act as an active strategic player. It can literally be trained to optimize for the absolute best moments to temporarily cheat and undercut rivals, perhaps during periods of market volatility, all while actively avoiding detection from other competing algorithms. It's like a highly advanced game of chess played at light speed. This cycle of coordination, defection, and detection is playing out entirely in the code. Because, while pro-competitive price drops and anti-competitive algorithmic cheating look completely identical to regulators from the outside, this creates massive stakes for antitrust enforcement. We aren't just talking about abstract economics here. We are talking about everyday consumers trying to negotiate a fair apartment lease or buy groceries, completely unaware that multiple AIs are silently dancing around each other in the background to extract the maximum possible price. Section 6. The Antitrust Challenge. This is the ultimate dilemma facing our legal system today. How do we police the technology of the 21st century using the laws of the 19th century? Section 1 of the Sherman Act, which is the absolute bedrock of U.S. antitrust law, traditionally requires proving an actual agreement to collude. But if competing firms independently deploy machine learning algorithms that just organically converge on higher prices without any direct communication, well, there is no agreement in the traditional legal sense. Which leaves us with this provocative final thought. As the mechanisms of coordination disappear entirely into the code, and those smoke-filled rooms are replaced by quiet server farms, how can consumer protection possibly adapt? If an algorithm independently learns to break antitrust laws, who is held responsible? Who goes to jail? It's a fascinating and vital question that will absolutely shape the future of how we buy everything. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I hope it gave you a fresh new lens on the invisible forces shaping our markets today.
Thanks for watching. For the deep dive economic analysis behind these stories, join us at econworks.com. Subscribe to stay informed on where law and economics meet the market. We'll see you in the next episode.